This is Mac Voices TV. Mac Voices TV is brought to you by St. Clair Software, the makers of Default Folder and History Hound. Visit them at stclairsoft.com. Welcome to MacNotables. This is the home of the Mac experts you want to hear from, and I'm Chuck Joyner. The MacNotables are in the PodLoft at the Macworld booth at Macworld Conference Expo, and joining us this time we have Mr. Adam Engst of Tidbits and Tray Control. Mr. Adam?
Hello, Chuck.
Good to have you. And Mr. Jim Dalrymple, also at Macworld.
How you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing good, Jim. Good to see you. Jim, you got all kind of time up on the big screen this morning at the Keynote.
I heard that.
I love the beard.
I
beard
didn't
is
know.
Yeah, we were both like, yeah, there's Jim again.
People were coming up to me when I walked in here and said, hey, I saw you at the Keynote. I said, well, yeah, of course I was at the Keynote. No, on the big screen. So.
Almost as much time as Al Gore.
Oh, there you go.
Well, didn't they kind of cut from Jim to Al Gore to Jonathan Ive and then back again?
You know, that I didn't quite get the level of the production.
You gotta pay more attention to this.
I just every time.
I was actually paying more attention than I normally do because my MacBook battery died after like 30 minutes. Worthless thing.
You need one of the new 17-inch MacBooks.
For the new 13-inch MacBooks, it just didn't work.
Okay, Keynote, guys. What's the consensus? Maybe there is no consensus.
I don't think that there is a consensus, but I think that we both have valid points for the arguments.
Okay.
I mean, the adjective we used was lackluster. And it wasn't that Phil did a bad job. It was that Apple has set a very high bar for keynotes. And by not in any way prepping people for, we don't have something like we do for a really good keynote, you couldn't help but be, oh, you've got some new features in some of your programs. How nice. You know, nothing wrong with that, but it's not the level of what we've become accustomed to Apple doing for a keynote. And if Apple's going, it's sort of like, you know, it's like a little bit like Wall Street analyst expectations. If you're not going to set expectations and then you radically underperform, you're going to get hammered.
You see, Adam is clearly wrong.
Don't hold back, Jim. Tell us how you really feel.
Because I think Apple did set expectations.
With what?
And they set expectations with this by Steve not coming and not doing the keynote. So expectations should have been a lot lower.
But they didn't say why Steve wasn't coming, and then they did the whole, but I have a hormone imbalance letter.
Did I interrupt? I really do think that they set expectations, and they set the expectations by saying that Steve wasn't going to be there. Now, I think that reasonable people would assume that iLife was going to be here and iWork was going to be here, and so I think that we went in knowing that these are the types of things that Apple was going to release. The face recognition, the geotagging, I think are great updates. The integration of Facebook and Flickr, all great things. Was there a new iPhone? No. Did we expect one? I don't think so. No, I didn't. I didn't expect a new iPhone with Steve. There were brand new iPods or redesigned things. They updated some things, and I think they gave us some things to chew on today.
See, I tend to agree with that a little bit because Apple has been sending a message for a long time that they didn't. Oh, so much for the professionalism. No, no, that's true. That's true. No, they have not wanted to stay on this annual cycle. As one, always having to announce the biggest, coolest thing at Macworld Expo. They want to put it out when they want to put it out when it makes sense.
So they've started off. They finished it off by giving a kind of mediocre set of announcements. Wouldn't you want to go on a bang if you were going to?
Yeah, but Apple doesn't perceive it as going out.
Oh, they do. I mean, Phil Schiller even said, he didn't say, the last Macworld we're participating in. He's like, it's the last Macworld ever.
Yeah.
He was,
No, he didn't say ever.
Well, he didn't say ever. He did say the last Macworld,
now we're making
period.
stuff up.
Yeah,
period, full stop.
Right before Tony Bennett came.
Right, singing, the best is yet to come but it's coming from Apple and not related to Macworld at all, because we're never coming back.
And I left my heart in San Francisco.
Yeah, right. You hosers.
Oh, a good Canadian thing.
Yeah, I'm with the Canadian. I gotta talk Canadian. Get my oots in there.
Oh, my bronchitis is kicking up, and you two are not helping.
This will never make it to air. So.
Every bit of it's going to air. We're not editing anything. Well, there does seem to be some disagreement between you two about the geotagging, faces and places and some of those things.
Faces is cool. Faces is cool, assuming it works. And we most won't know that until late January when it actually ships, because they didn't have it ready for the show, which might be why they're not trying to get out of actually coming to shows, because they can't get stuff ready in time. But the geotagging, I don't know. I mean, I just have yet to see a time when I would use it. It just feels to me like I know where I was. I don't. Most of my photos are taken within a very tight radius of where I live, and so maybe it's useful when I travel to another country where I might have forgotten where I was, or the little things you can do with the travel books is kind of neat, or an iMovie where you can now get the showing the path you took for things. That's cool, sure, but is it going to change the way I use the program? Not in the slightest.
I don't think it's about
The boot?
necessarily remembering where you were, unless you're a heavy drinker and you go out snapping photos and don't know where you were and you wanted to geotag them. I think it's about changing the way that you use the application, but letting the application change that for you. So you have pictures, they're all geotagged, you have face recognition so that they're all named, and then you can start to use the application in a different way, because now you can say, oh, I went on vacation in Rome, I really want to look at a Rome picture, from the Colosseum. Well, you don't have to search through 300 pictures, you can just search for the pictures that are in Rome, not your whole European vacation.
Yeah, see, for me, it's just like, oh, it's that event. Like,
but see, it's funny because
I just went. We went to Wales this summer, and so I have, between me and Tristan, we have about 2,000 photos of Welsh castles, but it was, it was very clear where all of them were, because we went from castle to castle to castle, and knowing where on the map of Wales I was doesn't feel like a big win. I'm just not seeing it. So, and is it not that some people won't, but also that cameras don't largely have GPSs in them at this point. I don't believe there's hardly any models that do. So, I'm not going to go in and spend the extra effort to put in geotags for something. Gee, am I ever going to use this?
Well, that I agree with. You might not go into all of them. I will go into some in iPhoto and geotag, just to have that information there, specifically for, I'm not going to geotag photos from
your house,
Keynote, or from my house, but I'll geotag photos from a trip to New York, or a trip to Rome last month. That stuff I'll do, and just the most recent stuff. But from then on, I want Chuck to buy me a camera with GPS in it.
Yeah. Once he does that, once he gets cameras with GPSs for all of us,
then it's already done.
I can do that. I can do that.
Who's going to buy us cameras? Yes, okay, see ya.
No, sit down. No, I've been using the iFi card, which you hate it? I love it. Because it automatically, calm down, because it automatically geotags.
It automatically uploads all your photos, whether or not you want them to be uploaded. You have no choice, because you have no control on the camera at all.
No.
You can't even necessarily delete something before it uploads it.
Well, it depends on how you have it set up and how you have it joining the network. But yeah, I know he's trouble. No, I
agree.
But I have found though that that's nice, because I am notorious for not tagging anything. It's just too much trouble. At least this way, I've got something in there in my photos. So I like it because it does that, and it's a way of getting geotagging into any camera.
There's no question that there's nothing wrong with having location information from a camera. And once you've got it, yes, places is a fine way to do. What I'm suggesting is that it's not the sort of thing you're going to go back and put into a lot of photos, because the big win isn't really there until it's effortless.
Exactly. Which is why I like the iFi card.
Right.
It's effortless.
And so,
it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. But other than that, it takes almost no effort to make it not work.
Right.
I've had no problem with it. What's with you guys? What's with you guys?
We're just, we're technology journalists.
Is that it?
Yeah, nothing works for us.
No, well, yeah, I found that out during the keynote watching your MacBook die.
Freaking MacBook died.
Yeah.
But so, the other keynote, the iFi card, that's a whole other rant. But and realistically, I'm not really complaining about geotagging, because I believe metadata is a good thing. And the more metadata you get without having to do anything is a good thing.
Yes.
And Adam and I agree here.
But that's iPhoto. And actually, I don't do iMovie, so I'm not going to agree or disagree about anything about iMovie, because I don't know. I don't use it. I've launched it once a year, maybe.
I've started using iMovie a little bit, and I really like the new one. I know a lot of people didn't like it when they brought it out. I really like it because you can now. I wanted to put audio tracks in, you know, without video, and now I can do that. And I was doing some training tutorials on MainStage. Comes with Logic, so for guitar stuff. So I would do screencasts, and then I would want to change the audio around. So I would put up, you know, iMovie, hoping that I could do that, and I couldn't. And you know, I'm not going to go into Final Cut Pro and stuff like that to start to do it. So the iMovie changes are really.
So, but you know, then you get into things like, you know, Pages. Like, welcome to 1992. We got mail merge. Woo! You know, it just, you know, come on. I mean, again. The feat's better to have the features than to not have the features, which is where we were before.
Right.
You know, that before it was even more useless. But the fact is that they're coming up to being a passable word processor from the mid-1990s.
Pages, the less useless end.
What is this you were drinking before you came in here?
Oh no, it was making me smarter and crankier.
Yes.
One thing I will say about Pages that I am disappointed in, and I talked to Apple after the keynote, is that they don't have...
This always has a big effect, by the way. When you talk to Apple right after a keynote, they take everything you say right to heart and go back and fix it.
Right. Except they actually told me that they wouldn't with this.
Really?
Really.
Oh, sorry. You were saying.
I wanted autosave in Pages. There's no autosave.
I think autosave stems from 1988.
That long?
I'm getting the feeling you didn't leave this with the warm and fuzzy.
You know, as I said, I'm so glad they added new features to these programs, but come on, where's the innovation? I mean, this really is a word processor from the 1990s. This is not a word processor that has anything to do with what we do with word processing now. And it doesn't change the way we can do anything. I mean, the closest they get to that is iWork, which again, what they showed was weak beyond belief. You know, you want a collaboration situation? Why isn't there round tripping, where someone downloads the file, changes it, and puts it back up?
Do we know that there's not, or is that just not part of the demo?
We don't know that there was not, and it's a beta, so they can put it in any time, thus making me wrong. But that was not shown, and
If I were them, I would do that. Just
put
to
it in.
make you wrong.
You know, Apple, if you're
I would like to be wrong if they would actually make it freaking useful. But you know, I mean, we've had this kind of collaboration stuff where you can upload something and comment on it, and see the comments for a long time. This is not new. Yeah, it's prettier. Apple did it. They did a nice job of making it look good. It's going to be, you know, fancy in new browsers and all that kind of stuff. But it's not changing the game in any way, and it is something they could have changed the game on. And then I would have been happy with the keynote because it would have been Apple doing what Apple does best, which is change the game. And instead, we got a lot more of the same.
But this wasn't a keynote about changing the game.
But it could have been. If iWork had been a killer collaboration environment that, for instance, worked with things other than just iWork, because let's face it, people who do work do not just work in 3 applications, then you know, suddenly that makes it more useful. If iWork had been the sort of thing, oh gee, Mobile Me, remember that, which you didn't like all that much when it, you know, when it freaked out on your synchronization for months on end and they had to apologize? What if they'd made iWork part of Mobile Me, rather than making it something they're going to charge more for, you know, and then build in these features? That's what draws people to the platform, to the whole thing. You're like, wow, that's great. I already have this. I can make it, you know, I can extend what I can do. I can collaborate with people in a real way rather than just this little commenting on stuff here and there. That's where I see. Because commenting, you've got to go back down to the original, and you got to figure out what each comment needs to do from each person. You got to put them all in manually. You know, we've had that for a very, very long time.
See, some of this, I just keep wondering if we weren't treated to a full demo of everything. Because some of the things you're talking about would seem to be so basic for a collaboration environment.
You would think, so why wouldn't they have demoed the basic things like round tripping? You know, that's a core aspect of any kind of collaboration.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And maybe it was just a lot lacking in the demo. I don't know.
Entirely possible. And I'd be certainly very happy to be wrong on that. I mean, I would love the fact that if I could be wrong and this would turn into a great collaboration environment, but I don't see it happening at least right away. Maybe, you know, again, a year down the road, iWork.com will become really useful. But even still, I don't know that I can do all my work in Pages and Numbers and Keynote.
Let me be argumentative just for the fun of it.
Wait, that's his job.
I'll give you a break, Jim.
All right.
With Pages.
We should take a break so Adam can have a nap.
You guys can argue with each other next, and I'll just rest.
Was Pages ever supposed to be a word processing app, or wasn't it? It was
supposed to be a lame page layout app instead.
Well, it was always this weird thing. Jeez, boy, this is only Tuesday of Macworld. Can you just imagine what this is going to be like? Yeah, no more of that
Come
stuff.
on, I mean, who uses Pages for any kind of real page layout? It's not work. It's
a consumer app. It's not supposed to be Quark Express or anything like that. Now, who uses it? My kids use it for their school projects. I mean, I use BB Edit and Word. I actually gave Pages a really good try as a Word document, and because it didn't have autosave and it crashed, I lost like 3/4 of a monster story. And that really upset me. Really upset me. I paced for a long time after that. And so I haven't used it since because I just can't afford to lose that kind of document. That's why I wanted autosave in this one. But, my wife and my kids use it.
Because they don't mind losing work when it crashes.
Wow! Can we turn his mic off?
Yes. I'm sorry. It was wide. It was right there.
It was. I left that wide open. I hope my wife doesn't watch.
Is Pages more approachable though than, say, Word? I mean, what's the competition in the word processing market?
It's more approachable, and but then again, my daughter uses Word to type up her school projects and stuff. It's only when they need to put art in and things like that they really turn to Pages. And they'll take their text and put it in, and then they'll put sharp pictures up and all that kind of stuff because it lays out their stuff very easily.
Yeah.
And for that, it's great.
But another example.
Numbers I really like.
I tried to use Numbers recently for a very simple task. I wanted to make a spreadsheet that contained metadata for all of our ebooks. Right. This is lots and lots and lots of rows. 25, 30 rows. You can't freeze a column. So I can't keep the title column stuck on the left while I scroll to the right, making it worthless. Can't use it. Just couldn't use it because I couldn't tell what book I was working on in any given column or any given row because I couldn't freeze the column that had the titles in it.
Clearly you have too many books.
It's true. I have too many documents in general. Wait, I actually do work because I work. Right. I'm just saying, that's the kind of thing where, simple little thing, I would have thought a spreadsheet could do this. No, it can't. Drove me to Excel to freaking type. There's no calculations in this spreadsheet. It's a list. It should be a database, and it's going to be a database, but Excel did the work. I mean, I would have preferred to use Numbers. I'm not saying that I don't like these programs, I just can't ever use them because they always fall down as soon as I try to do anything beyond the templates.
Okay, so
there's a lot more of now.
Yes. Well, okay, Jim, so if Adam's right, and these are not, they're gaping holes in the feature sets, why isn't Apple fixing them? Why are those gaping holes still there? Because there are some definite holes, whether I agree with all of Adam's comments or not.
Let's not even say that, because then he'll start again. Sure, there are some holes, but I think it depends on the market that you're going for. Would the average person be happy with Numbers and Pages? Probably so, because they're not going to need all the features
that are in. But it's a weird
in.
market, though. It is. Because it's not, the average person probably gets, if they have to do any kind of collaboration with people, they're probably getting Word and Excel stuff.
But the average person doesn't do collaboration
with other people at work. So that's the problem. Is that are these for work or are they for home?
I'm talking home.
So these are home apps. This is not really work apps.
I'm looking at the way that I see them being used.
Because one of the things that was interesting, actually, now that you mention it, is the way
Phil... I got credit for something.
Yeah. The way that Phil talked about the changes, like our customers asked for such and such. So what that means is they're doing stuff that the people who are actually using the programs want, rather than the people who don't use them because they have glaring holes want.
Okay.
It's a difference. I mean, I'm not a customer, really.
Yeah.
I look at the programs, can't do what I want, I'm not going to use it. And so the fact that I want all these other things, they don't listen to me because I'm not a customer.
Maybe you're cranky too.
Maybe you're just not telling.
I'll bet their customers are cranky as well.
Maybe after losing all the work, yeah.
We have just a couple minutes left, and I want to ask you both what you think of the new 17-inch MacBook Pro. Sorry, I just showed my age. Yeah.
I mean,
What's not to like?
There wasn't a whole lot to it, but really, what Adam said, what's not to like? The battery power, I am always skeptical when somebody comes out and says, oh, we have 5 hours battery power.
They said 8 hours. I'm betting 5 at best.
But even at 5 is damn good.
Beats the half an hour I got this morning.
So if they have figured out a way to deliver true battery power, then they deserve something just for that alone.
Yeah. Of course, we aren't going to get it on the ones we bought from November.
But that's huge. Battery power is huge. Any mobile computer, that's great. And they also made this one with a non-glossy thing for the people that need that. If that's a small or big portion of the people, they were a vocal portion. So that's great that they can have that.
Yes, Washington has FireWire.
800.
Unlike my MacBook, which does not have FireWire, and I'm still
It
bitter
only has
twisted.
800 on it, doesn't it?
This is FireWire. At least it has FireWire. Some FireWire.
Oh, you have a MacBook.
I have a MacBook. I like small machines that are capable. And unfortunately, the loss of FireWire makes it significantly less capable.
I have a MacBook
Pro. Because
You're a pro. Should we do that again? 3, 2, 1. You're a pro. I thought it was interesting, though, the amount of time they took explaining the battery. I mean, there was a lot of time taken.
Well, it's because there was nothing else new.
No, I don't know if that's fair.
Come on, it's a unibody. They explained the unibody in great detail.
Yeah, but
and there's nothing else new on the machine.
I actually think that they needed to take some time to explain what they did with the battery because I don't think people would have believed them.
I don't think some should believe them. I think people would have been up in arms about the fact that it wasn't removable.
Yeah, well,
because a non-removable. I mean, if you're like a photographer who has to be out in the shooting in the wilds, and Apple hasn't licensed the MagSafe adapter, so there's no external batteries. That kind of stuff gets to be problematic. And so at least here they've got a story. They gave a story, which if they give stories behind things, people agree. They know what the thinking is. When they just come out and do something and expect you to like it, like, we never got an explanation for why there's no FireWire in the MacBook.
Yeah.
I mean, people came up with theories, like, there's no room in the motherboard.
And I don't agree with that.
Yeah, whatever they are. But we never got a story from Apple, and therefore we're irritated. Whereas with this, I'm actually not irritated that it's not removable, because I think they made a pretty damn good case for we get 40% more battery life out of it by making it non-removable. Okay, that's a good story.
Okay, so is this a shift in Apple's communication because it was Phil?
Apple? No, they're lousy communicators the best of times. This is the company that does release notes that say bug fixes.
Can you imagine sitting with this at the dinner table?
You should come have dinner with me. You follow me on Twitter. We have very nice dinners.
I'm gonna go send his wife a sympathy card.
You need to follow Tanya's secret Twitter feed to get the real story.
He's helping.
Yes. No, Adam, I heard just what you said. I heard a number of times this morning, and there have been some times in the past few months, where Apple seems to be making a point of saying, our customer said, and therefore, here it is.
No, I don't think that's any different. I mean, that's
so?
it. It's industry,
Okay.
it's industry speak.
Yeah, everybody says that.
Everybody says that. So no, I don't think it's anything different really. And you can never tell what Apple. I mean, when Apple says our customers asked us. Well, I don't know. I mean, customers try to talk to Apple a lot. Apple does a real lot of ignoring of them. I mean, sometimes you can get mail through to sjobs@apple.com. But realistically, I don't actually know how Apple determines what their customers want, because I've never heard from anyone who's actually ever been polled by Apple. That is there a scientific method to the what our customers want madness, or is there just, well, this is what we wanted to do and we decided our customers wanted it too, because Joe the engineer's wife heard from someone in her daughter's playgroup that it would be really nice if they had such and such. And either one could be true. There's no way of knowing it. And that's not to say that the word of mouth approach isn't valid or even correct. That it may be true that was just a simple instance of, yes, everyone wants this feature, but boy, you want to talk. I mean, the Mac industry in general has for a long, long time been saying, well, this is what we want, and Apple will sometimes do it, very often not do it. It's their prerogative, but it does make one wonder about when they say our customers.
You agree with that?
Oh, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah.
See, you can have come at dinner with me now.
You mean we're going to end on you two agreeing?
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. It saddens me.
It's disturbing thinking the way we started out.
Started out.
Started out. Started out.
We'll go fight outside.
Hey guys, thanks so much for taking the time. It's always fun, and this has been very, very interesting, to say the least. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacNotables, the Mac experts you want to hear from.
Really?
You do. Really? You do. Adam Engst, Jim Dalrymple. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.
Hi, Mom.
Mac Voices TV is brought to you by St. Clair Software, the makers of Default Folder and History Hound. Visit them at stclairsoft.com. Mac Voices TV is part of the Mac Voices Group and a member of Mac Level 10.